My friend said I can see you going off like this. Did you see the gentle parenting one?
Combat Divas, stomp your left, right, left. Combat Divas. Yo, welcome back to the Combat Divas podcast. This your girl TG
and your girl Tanisha B,
and we are back for another episode. Now, I don't know if we're gonna put these episodes out in order or not, but we probably will have to, because Tanisha just went on a whole tangent about her love life and so
or lack thereof,
or lack thereof, and so this episode, lately within the past couple months, there have been several incidents, I feel like, where there's either like a pastor or a church incident, somebody slapped somebody on the altar or something like that these videos go viral, right? And the pastor's left trying to explain himself or try to say, no, this person was wrong, it wasn't me, it was this. And I mean, I'm just here to say something about the inside of it, because it depends on what area of life you met me at, but a lot of people on this show probably don't know that I was like heavy in the church from like I joined the church when I was like 16 and stayed in the church all the way up until I was a grown, well into my adult years. So I think that there is a lot to be said behind the scenes. And I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. Now, my disclaimer is that I believe in God. I believe in Jesus, so don't get on here telling someone, you don't even like God no more. That's not the case. She did not
lose her way. She did not lose her way.
That is not the case. I do just think about this a different way. And it's a running joke in some Christian communities that you go into, like when people go to seminary and start to learn about theology, you go into these schools, a Christian, and you come out an atheist, because you learn so much information while you're there that actually contradicts what you thought you believed in or what you thought God was all about. So I'm gonna hit on this very touchy subject.
Okay, let's get into it.
So when I was 16, I was just going through a lot of things just mentally. I was still kind of dealing with, my parents didn't raise me. My grandparents did an amazing job, but it's just, I always felt like something was missing. I kind of dealt with abandonment issues, and, I was going to therapy, and I was just depressed and doing crazy stuff. And, somebody invited me to church one time, and it was a black church, like hand clapping, foot stomping, old school, everybody related type of church, right? So, I go to the church and, felt welcome and felt like kind of a family dynamic, and kind of what I thought I was missing, what I thought I didn't have in my life. And I end up, getting in there and going full-fledged. When I say full-fledged, like it was a sanctified church or charismatic, some people say. So, the women didn't wear pants. The men were very, I don't want to say the men were very manly, but, the men were very dominating, or they wanted to be.
Like
so
alpha male type of
wanted
energy?
to be, yeah, I would say. Not that it always turned out like that, but it was just like one of them really old school kind of fascist almost environments. But it didn't turn me off because of the, I really was trying to do the right thing at the time. I did so much of the wrong thing. So I was like, well, I need to do the right thing. I need to clean my act up, get right with the Lord, all that type of stuff. So end up in church and, full-fledged in it. And I do feel like you have to be a certain type of personality to be fully engaged in that type of church. I only say that because I was in kind of transition because I was feeling some type of way, still feeling abandoned by my parents and stuff like that. Not this excuse, but at that time, that's what it was. And I just fell, completely head over heels with the church atmosphere and with the people there. And good people, most of them. It was just this, you believe in these pastors and stuff so much that you go full-fledged and you will do just about anything they say. You believe that they actually are, talking from a good place and care about the Lord, so you, whatever they say, you believe the Lord said it. Like, well, he wouldn't have said it unless the Lord really did deem it to be true, So, I went through the church for a long time, and I say that to say I saw a lot of things that were not very good or not very godly or not very Christian-like. I saw a lot of backbiting and gossiping and just, controlling and manipulating and money, not laundering, but like, misappropriations of funds, not just at that church, but several churches. And it's just, some of those atmospheres are not great. The thing about it is, once you get hurt with your belief system and what you really believe in, as far as what a church goes, if you church hurt, what people call it, if you do get church hurt, it can change your entire life.
Okay.
It can change what you believe in, who you believe in. It can make you, go totally the other direction. And I feel like that's what I did.
Explain church hurt.
Church hurt is you love the church with all your heart and soul, and something happens within that church that just breaks your heart, that makes you stop believing. It could be a sexual impropriety. It could be somebody lying, or somebody, a fight broke out, anything, something like that, to make you just lose hope and lose faith in something that you really believed in.
Okay.
And I felt like that's what happened to me. Now, I will say this. The way the church was set up is almost like a separation. So you are away from the people that you usually be around, the people that you usually know and love, my regular friends and stuff. I joined the Army to actually run away from the church. That was part of the reason I joined the Army in the first place. I needed a break, right? And I didn't know how to say I needed a break. So I joined the Army like an idiot. And, so I could have an excuse to have a break. Mm-hmm. Now, the way the church dynamic was set up at this time was that, on Fridays we had church to interrupt your weekend. On Sundays, regular church. But not just regular church where you just go in the morning, then you leave. Mm-hmm. Like all day. And if you left like during the day, it was like what you went to? Well, why you got to leave, sister? So it's like, so they feed you for breakfast, Sunday school, breakfast, regular church service, after church service, dinner, after dinner, another church service. So you was there till like 8 o'clock at night. You moved in the morning and you moved out late at night. Everybody had bags, changes of clothes and stuff. Crazy. So not crazy, but
you had to change your clothes.
Because whatever you wore that morning, it might be a different service that night. Like they wanted you to wear white for Sunday morning, but so that evening was a church concert, so you had to wear red and black or something. But it actually took over your entire life, and it broke up any relationship that you would have. Not purposely, not saying that other people was heathens, just that if they're not here and you here, then what can you do about that? They should be here too, type of thing.
Okay.
And it just really took over my life for a very long period of time. And one of my core values is service. I really believe in serving people. No matter what, I'm going to volunteer. No matter what, I'm going to give back. But I do feel like that's why I always have, because I do always give. Mm-hmm. But the downside of that is people will manipulate that, and people will take advantage of it if they can. And I was taken advantage of I feel like for a very long period of time. And I was just embedded with these people, and I felt so bad because I put my friends on the back burner, like y'all. Yeah. My family was on the back burner. And so much transpired, but I really believed in these people. I feel like I can't even do this episode. I gotta break it down. I'm too emotionally still invested in this.
But no, I've known, oh my God, I've seen the transition, like just knowing you for like at this point, like over 13 years. I saw the beginning with the dresses and like I only wear skirts. I didn't really see you wear pants, and I seen you, just running yourself from one end to the next for the sake of the church. Yeah. I think we had to. It was one birthday you spent your birthday at the church, and we had to meet you after the church, and it was at nighttime just to get together and have you cut a cake and celebrate your birthday with us. And then you still had to you couldn't stay too long because you still had something to do for another member or like the next day for the church. Like it was crazy. Really took over your life.
The thing about it, because I really believed in what I was doing. I went to school to be an evangelist. I got my evangelist license, and I really believed in what I was doing. I really believed in helping people. And I really thought I was doing the right thing. The only backside of that was that I wasn't really understanding things for myself. Okay. And when I did question things, it was more so, well, you might be thinking about this wrong. Well, maybe you got the wrong concept of it. Or the older people, who you been around? So somebody must be telling you that it's wrong. It's like, nah, I'm telling me that is wrong, but if you telling me I'm wrong, then maybe I got to rethink it, because they have that much of a monopoly over your thought process. Now, it's not just all their fault.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say that. I will say that I was in a place where I was receptive to anything that made me feel a part of a community at that point in time. And so that is initially how it happened. And I couldn't bring anybody else into that, though. So once I did get married and started, and I had my baby, I couldn't make my husband bend over backwards for these people that he barely know. Mm-hmm. I couldn't put my daughter to a point where I take her decisions away from her. And now she got to dress and dresses all the time, even if she don't want to wear a dress all the time. She got to be this, upstanding girl, so to speak. If that's not the decision that she wanted to make. And the more I started to learn about life in general and society in general, the more I knew that I was wrong and how far I went with the church. Okay. Now, there were improprieties within the church. Like I said, there were times where, the pastor, like I said, I don't know if I can really
you can say
do the whole thing. With a pastor had some improprieties, as far as sexual improprieties and stuff like that. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's when I left, because I definitely couldn't be a part of that. But like the pastor's wife would be very aggressive in what she would bring across to us and the ladies and stuff like that. She didn't let up. You know what I mean? Like, I had to be there for them all the time, or if I wasn't there for them all the time, I was in sin. Yeah, I was sinning somehow, or I was doing the wrong thing. I was at one of the lowest parts of my entire life when I was in the church, because at some point I still wanted to do what I wanted to do, but I still wanted to be in church too. So I was just doing both, and that's during the time where I was using recreational stuff and stuff like that to kind of get rid of all the guilt and stuff like that I felt, because I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm sinning or not. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not, Yeah. And it brings on this whole conflict that's unnecessary, when all God really wants you to do is live and be free and trust you with the life that he gave you. Instead, not having somebody else maneuver and drive the car of your life everywhere. And that's really what I felt, is they took our choices away, and they told us what we should believe and how we should think. And we just somehow stopped thinking.
Some very, very manipulative people,
to
where like they influenced you, but use the word of God, and they use where you're going to be in the afterlife, whether you will go to heaven or where you will go to hell, and they use that to their advantage. And the whole time that they were probably in a more sinful way to try to influence you to feel like, to make you feel bad for not being there for them at their every single whim, which was wrong. So it's like you was just living your life and wanting to do both. You want to enjoy your friends, you want to enjoy your own downtime, but you also wanted to serve God, and you also wanted to serve the church. Mm-hmm. And they tried to influence you to where they make you feel like you had to choose.
Right.
Either it's going to be us or it's going to be your life.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make it seem like this is supposed to be your life. This is your life, but you're going against God by occupying your time with ungodly people and ungodly recreational activities and all these other things, when you really just trying to live a full life. And they're like making you feel like you trying to live a full life and be happy is wrong. And they too wrapped up in the stuff that they want you to do for them to realize that you're actually not happy.
Yeah, no, I was not happy at all. I thought I was doing the right thing. I just didn't want to go to hell, but I wasn't happy with how my life was turning out. At some points, I didn't even recognize, my life or myself at all, like how I looked, what I turned into. Like, and then at some point, I was just like overly judgmental of everybody and everything, Every group that wasn't like part of that group, I judged it like, oh, well, the answer is in the Bible. Do you believe the Lord? If you believe the Lord and accept the Lord as your personal Savior, you can be, that was the answer to everything, Yeah. And I believed it, baby, because I feel like that's how Malcolm X felt when Louis Farrakhan then was messing up and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was messing up. Mm-hmm. And when Malcolm X found out, you saw how hurt he was? Well, Denzel, really. You saw how hurt he was? Like, I really felt that part, because he still wanted to do the right thing, but the leaders, everything that he thought he knew, he didn't know anything anymore. Yeah, it was all a lie. So now he got a bill from all that betrayal, all that just murk that has dirtied up everything that you thought you believed that was pure and righteous. And that's how I felt as I was leaving. But I will say this: once I did make up my mind to leave the church and to live my own life and do my own thing, I cut ties immediately, and I had to for my own sanity.
Yeah,
because I don't want to say like a game, but you ain't just gonna leave that easy, right? Somebody gonna keep calling you. Somebody gonna try to figure out like what happened or what's going on. Or,
our young sister has lost her way, and we got to bring her back to the flock,
right?
So she can be right with God. Exactly. And it's like you are the people. Like, it's not God I'm leaving. I'm leaving you all. Yeah, you with your manipulation, and you with your sinning, and you with all these things that this underbelly of the things that people don't see, but y'all put on airs to believe that everybody feeling like all life is perfect if you just follow God. Like, y'all out here bad.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like some of the stuff that they even made me believe, I was just, as I reflected, some people that I know, all of us, we don't go there no more. But sometimes we reflect together and we be like, well, I mean, in this stage of my life, I can't even imagine what I was thinking back then, or what even I had on my mind, that I actually like wholeheartedly believe some of this stuff. And I believe I had to dress that way, and I couldn't wear red nail polish because that was Satan. Yeah. I mean, it was like, like,
is that what a red come
looking
from?
Back from at the Salem Witch trials, like, oh, they crazy. But if you had nothing else to justify, sin or what's going wrong in the world, you're going to say the devil made me do it. And that's how it was.
I mean, the whole red thing too. Like growing up, you couldn't wear red nail polish because
red was like fast,
Yeah, or you couldn't wear. My mom would never let me wear red lipstick or red gloss or something.
Because red is like a maturity color. If you wear red, that means like you out here for the streets. It's literally
just a color. It's just a color that's up there with purple. It's up there with blue or yellow or gray or orange. Like, it's literally just a color, but they use that one particular color to signify all these,
because it was such a bold color, right? And it draws attention. God. So if you got a red lip, people are looking at your lips. You got red nail polish on, people looking at you more, and they feel like you're not being modest no more. Now everybody looking at you.
I still can't wear red nail polish. Like, I don't wear it because I was just like, oh my God, it just looks so bad. Oh my God. But I can wear a red lip in a minute. I love a good red lip, but it's something about the red nail polish. I was like, it just really doesn't go.
That's how you was brought up. I mean, people were brought up in church. That's all you knew, is that red was provocative. It gets the people going. And that's all you knew growing up in the church. But I still believed in them, and I believe in God. No love lost. These people not terrible. You know what I mean? They believe what they believe, I think they actually believe it. So I can't be mad at them. I am glad that I'm come to a point where I understand things for myself now, and I understand the relationships that I have. Because even like if somebody left the church, we couldn't even talk to them no more. It was like, oh, you talk to so and so. She gone. And it's like, right, but I mean,
but it wasn't as intense. It wasn't as intense as being like a Jehovah's Witness, because they would literally just like, if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, they would like you are excommunicated. They don't talk to you. Yeah. They don't even acknowledge you. Yeah. They could literally see you. They rude as hell. They'll literally see you and not even speak to you.
But see how deep that is, but still under the cover of God's grace and mercy. Yeah. I mean, I can't put them all together.
They say God is an all forgiving God and all these other things, but it's like, but we're dealing with human beings who are not forgiving, who are not open to the words that they preach to other people. Yeah. They're not very forgiving. They're very judgmental. They're very
it's a lot that you can't do right in the church. I mean, they got it all written out for you, bylaws, and I mean, it's not like the Baptist church. Baptist people, you can get away with a lot in Baptist church. You can smoke a cigarette right outside the church, and that's okay. They ain't gonna really judge you for it. The pastor might have went drinking last night and was over there at the house party. You never know, and that Baptist church, that's okay. But like sanctified church, like they like the most sanctified. That's the word you use, sanctimonious people.
So they show the a sanctified image.
That is correct.
So because they want behind the scenes, it's like, this is what we look like, all smiling faces, married, 2.1 kid or 2.5 kids or whatever, how they call it, and they have this beautiful home, white picket fence. but behind the scenes,
it's
pastor got a mistress. The wife is the wife has a drug problem, and then the kids is being promiscuous, showing like their titty pics online, and the boy,
pastor's kids are the most promiscuous people.
And the son is gay. Like all these things that be behind the scenes.
You're right. I mean, pastor's kids because they're so sheltered, right? And if one thing about it, if you prohibit somebody from doing something for a very long period of time that they really want to do, when they can't do it, they're gonna go crazy. Lock your child up in the house for a while, like no sunlight. They just got to be in the house for like 3-4 days. When they go outside, they have no idea how to act again. They're doing cartwheels in the middle. They got suckers hanging out their hair, all type of stuff because they haven't been outside. Yeah. Same thing for adults. If you prohibit an adult from doing what they naturally want to do, what is natural for them to do for a long period of time, when they get any kind of freedom, they will go absolutely nuts. And it happens more often than not, especially with pastor kids, because they under like a microscope. People judge them before they judge anybody else. Oh, your daddy a pastor. You know, that's how we talk to them. Like they supposed to be, unhuman, or they can't do anything that regular human people would do.
But none of them are perfect. I think my mom, she had a situation to where like one of her best friends, she was the first lady in the church, and the husband was the pastor, and he ended up messing around with like a 16-year-old that was a part of like one of the church members' daughters, and she ended up getting pregnant.
Wow.
Like it's like a mess. It's like you try to bring people into your congregation under the guise of, hey, this could be your life, and it could be, if you just follow God, your life would be prosperous, and all these things. And then but they can't grasp the fact that they're imperfect humans.
Yeah.
But it's still, you can still be an imperfect human and still be a great person. But some of these people have some sinister ways about themselves.
Absolutely.
And
the church is a business, especially the black church. And I make this argument in black neighborhoods a lot of times. If I drive down Pulaski, and this on the west side, if I drive down Pulaski, there's probably between, in a 10-block radius, about 25 churches. And in any street, any main street on the west side of Chicago, there's a church on almost every other corner where there's not a liquor store. There are no real businesses. Ain't no grocery stores in the city. There's no hospitals. Really no banks. Maybe one bank, and that bank closed down and they got it all spray painted now. So there's nothing that we can do economically in our neighborhoods except give to the black church, because that's what you give an offering, right? You're paying your tithes. You giving and you giving and you giving, but there's nothing in that community that can give back to you. And I always question that, like, how is it that there's so much God in this city, so to speak, on every other corner, but we don't have no prosperity.
But it's God.
We don't have no wealth.
So much God, but it's godless.
Right. Crackheads everywhere. How is it I drive down Pulaski and there's people nodding off everywhere down Pulaski, but there is not one place where I can go to get any real help or any real economical growth in this neighborhood? That's bananas to me.
The church doors are open, but at the same time, the church doors are closed.
Right.
The church doors are open to more people to build their congregation. They're more open to where people can give. How much are they supposed to give? 10% or 15%
of their
earnings to give to tithes, to make sure there's a door on the church and all these different things. But they don't put back into the community to where the homeless can come and get a nice, decent meal, and come in and have a shelter and have clean clothes and to be nurtured under God's wing, to where they can be a great person in society and get them healed to go back into the world. Like they got a church on every other corner, just like the liquor store. So all they're doing, they about as bad as the liquor store. If all they're doing
is taking from that community,
all they're doing is tainting the community. You either gonna be an alcoholic, or you gonna be just completely confused about what the world has to offer to you,
or oblivious because this is all you know. So I don't know about the South Side, and I ain't did this experiment on the South Side.
No, it's a lot of churches on the South Side also, but the doors are wide open on Sunday and closed the rest of the week.
That's
got
crazy.
Got the gates on the door, because I feel like with a church, they're supposed to be open and receptive to any and anybody that could come off the street and be welcomed and taken onto their wings to be nurtured and be cared for if they need it. If they just needed, like, you know what, I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feed me? I can go into a church. I can drive down the street and there's so many church doors, but all of them are locked.
Yeah.
You can't come to a church on a Tuesday and be like, hey, can you help me out? Not all churches, but majority of the churches that's doing it for profit, they're doing it for all the wrong reasons. There's a lot of churches across the country, or even in the city, that's open 7 days a week, no matter what, because they do have God's perfectly imperfect godly people that's willing to do God's work. But then there's so many other ones that just put on the face of doing God's work.
And that's the problem for me. When you put on the face of doing God's work, and even if you like your heart ain't pure, because some people know, the pastor might be a little janky, but he actually do care about the community, right? So you put up with that type of thing because he out there in the community, he trying to help people, he known for helping people. He just got his janky ways.
Right.
I can deal with that versus somebody who just, take and putting on this facade and not, putting out there in the community. Now, there are a lot of good churches that actually do care. I can't really name a few in Chicago at the moment, but I know there are several. And if you are one of them churches, then shout out to you. If the shoe don't fit, now don't try to put it on. Now, shout out to you if you're doing all the right things and you are trying your best to get out there in the community and help the community. I mean, my auntie has a church in Memphis. They do a lot in their community too. So I think when it comes to places like that, they put a good name back on them, and I feel sorry for them because there's always to that one good church, there's 20 others who are giving them a bad name, and we like to write stuff off. So if one church is foul, we'd be like, see, that's why I don't go to church. Look at all them churches, all them pastors. They ain't about nothing. They ain't nothing but a business. All they want is money. And
so that's me,
they make it bad for that one church that really is trying, that really is doing the right thing. Them people suffer because of all these other people who are using, God's name, and they really pimping them out. They out here hustling.
I side-eye those mega churches. Because they literally have an arena of people coming in, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. They're like, oh, you come in, but I feel like in some type of way you pay. And then those people that's at the head of these mega churches is literally living better than every single solitary member of that church. Like they in a multi-million-dollar mansion saying like, oh, we just trying to spare God's word. And this is the fruits. This is the fruits of God's will and whatever words they want to put into play to justify how they're able to drive around in these luxury cars and they're doing God's work. And it's like,
if you ain't got no other job too, it's like,
right, this is
this your only
thing.
income.
This is your only income. Something ain't right in this holy water.
Yeah.
Now if you like, all right, I'm Pastor James and this is my mega church, but I also do taxes or some stuff, I also work as the manager or the owner of this local grocery store and giving back to the community, farm to table type of lifestyle. Like, oh, okay, you're doing multiple things, but if this is your only thing, it's like, something ain't quite right. Because where is your money coming from? Because this is supposed to be a non-for-profit type of organization,
right?
So me, I'm like, I've seen like it's tainted me from not wanting to go. Like, I believe in God and everything. However, I don't go to church on Sundays. I feel like I don't want to expose myself to a lot of unsavory people that pick and choose the Bible, to pick and choose the words in the Bible to try to impress upon you to make it seem like you're not living right. And they're not living by every single checklist that they have going on as far as what they follow in the Bible. They pick and choose what they want to, put towards you in the name of God.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't trust it. I don't trust it in a way of like churches, and I'm not interested in finding the right church or whatever for myself. Like, I'm not interested. I believe I can believe in God. I can pray, and I can pray in my own home on my knees and do what's right for myself.
And you can. And I believe that's true. I mean, the church is there for for the community and for the people. Like you said, most of them are closed the rest of the week though. Just Sunday. And for them few hours, and then they close, and you can't get nothing else from them at all.
Nope.
But those that's open, the churches actually are open, and people are actually welcome to be there and actually, getting help from them and actually getting resources and, getting it, because they are a resource. That's their whole objective in our community. So yeah, if that's happening, then yes. In a good wholesome white church, I don't mind going to. It's a joke. It's some good black mega churches out there too. But white people ain't gonna hold you long. They're gonna, we gonna go get in, get out. They're gonna say a prayer,
and be on
do a hymn, and that's it. We done. Now black church, we're gonna be there all day, fam. Like it's a whole theater. Like we got to do all these theatrics.
16-hour day. Like
somebody got to do the announcements now. And make sure you pray for now. The choir sang A and B selection. Then the B selection got carried away. We still clapping. And then the pastor don't know how to close his message. So he been preaching for a hot 48 minutes.
But tell you I ain't gonna hold you.
And ain't gonna hold you long. Upstairs somebody frying chicken. So you smell the food. And so everybody ready. It's a whole theater going on at the black church sometimes. I love it though. I mean, I love black people. I love our people and how our churches. I mean, it's a community.
We got soul. We got
a lot of soul. It just
take you a lot of time.
Yeah, it just take a lot of time. And there's some good ones out there that's doing that thing. So if you are good with doing your thing, shout out to you. Kudos to you. Keep doing good things. Don't let the bad pastors, sway you from doing the right things. But you have to know that is how a lot of people are feeling. When the bad pastors do their thing. Like, I can't remember who that pastor was in New York, California, something like that. Slapped that lady on the altar like that. Because thought she was coming at him and his family or something like that. Now, he on a full Gucci outfit.
Oh, my God.
Gucci down to his socks. All, fly, coming to church. And he up there preaching, yeah, and amen, somebody or whatever. And then the lady started walking there. He took her head like and pushed her off to the side or whatever. God. And there was a whole big kind of debacle about that he abused that lady on the altar like that. And so they was like, how is this happening in our churches? And he tried to defend himself, and he's still trying to defend himself. Y'all know the whole story. Y'all know the whole story. It's like, I mean, hey Gucci, we all saw that you slapped that lady. Like, this was on the camera. So
you didn't reserve your judgment. Yeah. You decided to act upon your imperfect human ways and assault this person.
Yeah.
So I hope that these people that claim to be at God's right hand, and I hope they actually do find God.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are godless, praying and impressing upon people like they're one of God's disciples, or they at the right hand of God, and their God is speaking through them to you. And I don't know who's speaking through you, but it ain't God. And y'all need to find him up under the pews, behind the altar. Maybe amongst the church choir,
just in your heart, man. It's just an in your heart type of thing. So, man, and I want to know if anybody else. I mean, I've been talking to a few people that have been having these problems lately, with just being hurt by the church and feeling just really, hopeless after a certain amount of time when dealing with the church. And I want to know how you feel about it. I mean, I want to know if anybody else has had a similar experience as mine. Excuse me. So I would like to know what you think about that. And I'm like 15 minutes over my time. My engineer about to kill me. So, Tanisha B, how can they reach us?
I don't think you went over too long, did you?
We're supposed to be done at 5:15. It's 5:25.